I was halfway through Sha Vying, razor buzzing in my hand, when my wife, Sarah, let out a scream from the driveway that could have woken the dead. I bolted outside, still in my slippers, beard half cleared, and saw it. A tow truck creeping toward her Jeep, parked right there on our own property in our quiet cul-de-sac in Willow Creek, Oregon. No parking violation, no warning, just our Jeep gleaming under the morning sun. And there, strutting like she owned the neighborhood, was Helen, our HOA president, clutching a clipboard like a scepter, barking into her phone. Sarah was in the tow driver's face, hands on hips, yelling, "This is my car. What's going on?" Helen spun toward me, her neon safety vest practically glowing, and declared, "It's being repossessed under HOA Rule 12. Repossessed. I nearly choked on my own shock. Not towed, not fined, repossessed. I stood there, razor burn stinging, as the absurdity hit me. Helen had no idea that Jeep wasn't just ours. It was straight from our dealership, Cascade Motors, which Sarah and I owned. Sarah's eyes were fire, but she kept it together while VYing her phone at the driver, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "This is our land. That Jeep's ours. Touch it, and I'll sue your company in next week." The driver froze. Helen, undeterred, flapped her clipboard. "Proceed. It's non-compliant." The poor guy glanced between them, trapped in a suburban showdown he didn't sign up for. I was biting back a laugh and a scream, not wanting to tip our hand too soon. Helen was the type who thought shouting and paperwork equal power. From past run-ins, I knew she never read the rules she loved to enforce, and that made what was coming so delicious. Just the day before, Sarah had swapped out one of our dealership's promo vehicles. She'd chosen a sleek Jeep Gladiator, midnight blue, beefy tires, tinted windows, the works. It was still dealership stock, registered under our executive demo program, meaning we own it outright until it's sold. When Helen slapped a violation sticker on it that morning, claiming its aggressive look broke neighborhood rules, Sarah had shrugged it off. But now, Helen had lost it, calling a tow company and claiming our Jeep was unauthorized. Sarah tried reasoning at first, explaining the HOA had no say over vehicles on our private driveway. Helen's response? She threatened to slap a lien on our house. On our own home, for our own Jeep. This wasn't our first dance with Helen. For months, she nitpicked everything: our fence height, the color of our patio lights. But this was war. I grabbed my phone and called our dealership manager, Mike, who loved a good show. "Bring the title, a press kit, and that giant inflatable Jeep we use for sales events," I said. If Helen wanted drama, we'd give her a blockbuster. While we waited, I stalled the tow driver, offering him coffee and flashing the Jeep's registration. He glanced at Helen, now yelling into her phone about a district overseer, probably just her cousin Linda. I leaned in and whispered, "That Jeep's dealership property. Touch it, and it's grand theft." His eyes bugged out. "Dealership?" I nodded. "We own it. She's got no claim." He backed off fast. Helen noticed and stormed over, red-faced. "You have no say here. This is HOA business. That vehicle's a blight, big tires, dark tint, decals. It's like a drug lord's ride." I nearly lost it. Drug lord? Our Jeep was showroom fresh, shinier than her knockoff designer purse. I just smiled. "It's a promo unit from our lot. We own a dozen like it." She scoffed. "You're lying." Then Mike rolled up in his decked-out F-150, dealership plates gleaming, suit crisp, sunglasses on. He handed Helen a folder. "Title, proof we own it, plus a cease and desist from our lawyers. Try this again, and it's theft charges." Helen blinked, stunned. Mike wasn't done. "Oh, and for our records." He unveiled a massive banner. "Drive the future at Cascade Motors," with a cartoon Jeep soaring over a hill, Sarah's name tagged as executive demo. Sarah cackled. The tow driver gave a nod and peeled out. Helen, fuming, muttered about illegal ads and stomped home, defeated but not done. We knew Helen wouldn't quit. She was the type to stew, then strike harder. Sure enough, that afternoon, an HOA-stamped letter appeared on our door. Sarah read it with mock grandeur. A formal notice claiming our Jeep VY OLAT community aesthetics and accusing us of running a business from our driveway. I rolled my eyes so hard I saw stars. Helen was now alleging we were operating a dealership from our home, a deliberate jab to stir up zoning trouble. Sarah snorted. She thinks we're rookies. That night, we mapped out every incident in Helen's emails, violation notices, even our security cam footage. This wasn't just about clearing our name. It was about dismantling her reign. I dug into the HOA's records next. Helen had ruled Willow Creek's HOA for 4 years, pushing through shady fees and rules that seemed designed to torment. I requested meeting minutes, which she tried to dodge, claiming a scheduling backlog. Please. Our neighborhood had 60 homes, and the board was basically her book club. When I got the documents thanks to a nudge from our lawyer, they were gold. Helen had rammed through community standards amendments, giving her power to fine for unsightly vehicles or limit driveway parking. These past emergency votes she signed herself, with missing or outdated board members' names. A quick check showed 2 listed members had moved out a year ago. Helen was faking quorum. We cited a former board member, Emma, who'd left after clashing with Helen. Over coffee, she spilled. Helen had her sign blank forms to streamline votes, and she'd heard whispers of Helen getting kickbacks from a local tow shop, Pete's Auto Haul. That name clicked the tow truck from our driveway, had Pete's logo. We swung by Pete's lot and saw a fenced yard packed with towed vehicles, some with HOA stickers, including a vintage Camaro and a lifted Tacoma. I played dumb, asking Pete about a friend's towed car. He bragged, "I've got a deal with Willow Creek's HOA. The president's tough sends me work." Sarah, recording via Bluetooth, caught every word. Armed with dense recordings, minutes, Emma's statement we braced for Helen's next move. She called an emergency HOA meeting at the community center, clearly planning to roast us. We showed up early with Mike, our lawyer, and a USB packed with proof. Helen paced by a projector, her slides screaming neighborhood threats, with our Jeep's photo front and center. She droned about commercial encroachment until our lawyer stood. "May I respond?" Helen snapped. "This isn't a courtroom." But a neighbor piped up, "Then why is it an assembly with formal notices?" The room stirred. Our lawyer held up the Jeep's title. "This is corporate property. Your tow attempt was illegal interference." Gasps. Mike passed out packets showing Helen's forged signatures. Emma stood, outing Helen's shady tactics. Neighbors started talking. 5 admitted to unfair tows. One woman crying about her kid's truck costing Dulon $900 to retrieve. Pete's name came up. So did kickbacks. Helen backed against the podium, babbling about misunderstandings. Our lawyer dropped the hammer. We'd filed a county complaint for fraud and misuse of HOA funds. Helen fled, Leah ing her slideshow looping. The meeting became a town hall. Neighbors shared years of Helen's bullying, from finding chalk drawings to measuring grass. Sarah was nominated to the board on the spot, and I couldn't stop grinning. The Jeep, now dubbed Vindication, wasn't just a carrot, was a symbol. Helen didn't go quietly. 2 days later, a lawyer's letter claimed our Jeep's dealership sticker was an illegal billboard. Sarah, with her legal background, fired back, citing statutes and precedents protecting vehicle branding. We also filed a state complaint, attaching our dossier, forged votes, Pete's audio, and new denke from a former treasurer, Mr. Chun. His records showed Helen funneling HOA cash in her home, upgrades, new sod, a custom mailbox, even a consulting fee tied to our Jeep's tow attempt. It was embezzlement, plain and simple. We gave Helen an out: resign, repay the funds, apologize publicly, or face a lawsuit. For 3 days, her house was a ghost town. Then, online, neighbors erupted, posting Helen's emails and tow photos. On day 3, her resignation had no apology, just excuses about stress and smears. The HOA elected an interim board, and Sarah pushed for transparency and audits. The county launched a probe into Helen's finances, sniffing wire fraud. Our dealership leaned in, launching Ride Free, a discount for HOA Tims. It exploded, landing us on local news. Dealership fights HOA tyranny. Sarah's interviews, calm but fierce, sparked a regional HOA reform push. We even rolled out a Vindication Edition Jeep, its logo a cheeky nod to our fight. It sold out in weeks. One quiet evening, as we sat by Vindication, watching the Oregon sunset, I asked Sarah if Helen ever got what she tried to steal. She wanted control, Sarah said, but she lost respect, and that's worse. Days later, MOVYing truck cleared out Helen's house. A for sale sign appeared. The neighborhood breathed easier. Kids drew chalk art. Lawns grew shaggy, and Vindication sat proud. We hadn't just won. We'd sparked a rebellion. So what do you think? Was Helen just a power-hungry bully, or did she believe she was SAVYing the neighborhood? Should we have sued her outright or let the community handle her? And how far would you go to protect your own vindication? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories of standing up to the Helens of the world.